What if I told you that a company invented an entirely new category of business in India? And after 14 years and $803 million in funding, they're still losing money. And it's not bleeding money the way early stage startups do. It's losing money the structured, systematic way where the math of the business model itself makes profitability difficult to reach. In FY25, Rebel Foods, the company behind Faasos, Behrouz Biryani, Oven Story, earned around 1,617 crore in revenue and spent 1.23 rupees to earn every single rupee of it. This is not a story about a bad business. Rebel Foods genuinely disrupted India's food industry and they created the cloud kitchen model before anyone else understood it. This is a story about something more interesting and more useful for anyone running or building a business. It's about what happens when the structure of your business model has a ceiling and how you navigate that ceiling without breaking what made you great. Let's build it from scratch. Section 1. The origin, what they actually invented. In 2011, Jaideep Barua and Kalol Banerjee made a decision. They were not food industry veterans, but a McKinsey consultant and a tech operator. Two people who looked at the food delivery market in India and saw a structural problem nobody was solving cleanly. Running a restaurant in India in 2011 meant expensive high street real estate, front of house staff, a dining room you had to fill every service, a kitchen producing food nobody was optimizing for delivery. Your biggest cost would be rent and was paying for the ambience, the tables, the square footage of the customer experience. But what if the customer didn't want the experience? What if they just wanted the food? Then inside, strip out everything that doesn't produce the food, no dining room, no prime location rent, no front of house staff, just a kitchen in a low-cost industrial space producing food optimized for delivery. They called it a cloud kitchen, a restaurant without a restaurant. The first brand was Faasos, a wraps and roll concept, purely delivery, no dine-in. The kitchen was the business. By 2017, they had proved the model worked. By 2019, they had launched multiple brands like Behrouz Biryani for the premium segment, Oven Story for pizzas, The Good Bowl for healthier options, all running out of the same kitchen infrastructure, sharing the same cold chain, the same packaging line, and the same delivery window. One kitchen, multiple brands, multiple revenue streams from the same square footage. This was genuinely brilliant capital allocation thinking. The unit economics of the kitchen improved because fixed costs were spread across more brands. The customer got variety, the business got leverage. Rebel Foods wasn't just building a food company, they were building a kitchen operating system. Section 2. The scale, how they built it. By FY24, Rebel Foods operated over 450 cloud kitchens across 70 plus cities in India and internationally in UAE, UK, Southeast Asia and another 150 plus locations. They had 45 brands across 10 food categories. They raised serious capital to fund this. Sequoia, Goldman Sachs, Qatar Investment Authority. Total capital deployed over 14 years was about 803 million and the valuation at peak was over 1.4 billion. A unicorn built entirely on delivery-only kitchen infrastructure. They also did something clever on the demand side. Rather than building one mega brand and compete with Domino's or McDonald's on brand recognition, which is expensive, they waged a multi-decade war and built a portfolio of occasion-specific brands. Behrouz Biryani for the occasional meal, Oven Story for casual pizza, The Good Bowl for the health-conscious order, each brand targeting a different consumer mindset, a different search intent on Swiggy and Zomato, and a different price point. The logic? You don't need to win the brand war if you can win the search bar. When someone searches for biryani on Zomato, Behrouz shows up. When they search for pizza, Oven Story shows up. Same kitchen, different brands, different transactions. The model was working, the revenue grew, the kitchen network scaled, the brand portfolio compounded, and then the numbers started telling a different story. Section 3. The financial reality, where the model hits its ceiling. This is the part of the video that matters most, so stay with me. Rebel Foods in FY25 had 1,617 crore in revenue and 336 crore in net losses. They spent 1.23 rupees per revenue rupee earned. Now compare that to FY19, where their cost per revenue rupee was 1.31 rupees. 6 years of scaling, 803 million deployed, and the improvement in cost efficiency was 8 paise per rupee. That is not criticism of management. That is a signal that there is something structurally happening in the business model, something that scaling alone cannot fix. Let's break it down into 3 layers. Layer 1, platform commission, the permanent deduction. Rebel Foods sells primarily through Swiggy and Zomato. That's not a choice. That's where the customers are. And those platforms charge 25 to 30% commission on every single order. On a Rs 400 biryani order, 100 to 120 goes to the platform before Rebel Foods has paid for a single ingredient. This is a structural gross margin ceiling. It doesn't go away when you scale. It doesn't reduce as you grow. Every additional order has the same commission attached to it. The platform owns the customer relation and Rebel Food owns the kitchen. That asymmetry is where the platform has the pricing power and the kitchen does not, and is baked into the model. Layer 2, material costs. The food is expensive to make. Food costs at Rebel Foods run approximately 34% of revenue and 25 to 30% platform commission, and you already consume 59 to 64% of every revenue rupee before you've paid for rent, staff packaging, delivery, support or technology. That leaves 36 to 41 paise of every rupee to cover everything else. When you're running a kitchen-based business, high fixed costs make your margin incredibly tight. To turn a profit, you really need to push for extraordinary volume to spread those costs thin and get the numbers working in your favor. Layer 3, the multi-brand model has more complexity, not just more revenue. The portfolio strategy is smart for demand capture, but it creates operational complexity. Managing 45 plus brands means 45 plus sets of recipes, training standards, ingredient sourcing, quality checks, and customer expectations. Each new brand adds revenue, but also adds a layer of operational cost that doesn't disappear. Put these layers together, platform dependency eating 25 to 30%, revenue of the top, food costs consuming another 34%, and complex multi-brand operations to manage, and you have a business where the path to profitability requires either changing the unit economics of the model or growing to a scale where fixed cost leverage finally kicks in a meaningful level. At 1,617 crore in revenue after 14 years, Rebel Foods is still working on it. Section 4. What have they done to fight it? To their credit, Rebel Foods hasn't sat still. Here's what they've done. Move 1. Building direct ordering infrastructure. Every order placed directly through Rebel Foods apps, through their own website, through WhatsApp ordering, is an order where no platform commission is paid, 0% instead of 25 to 30%. They've been investing in this. It's a long game building customer habits away from Swiggy and Zomato, and it's hard when those platforms have stronger discovery. But every percentage point shift towards direct orders is a meaningful gross margin improvement. Move 2. Licensing the kitchen model, don't just own it. Rebel Foods launched EatSure, a branded aggregator play, and began licensing their kitchen operating system to other brands. Rather than only running their own brands, let other brands pay to use Rebel's kitchen infrastructure, tech stack and delivery systems. Move 3. International expansion for premium pricing. In the UAE and UK, Rebel Foods operates in markets where food delivery pricing power is higher and where Behrouz Biryani can command premium positioning that Indian delivery pricing doesn't allow. Better margins per order, less platform dependency as a percentage of overall business. These moves are structural. They're addressing the right problems, but they're also early, and the domestic business still carries the weight of the model's limitations. Section 5. The financial takeaways. Here's what every founder and SMB owner and every investor watching this should actually carry away. 1. Platform dependency is a structural tax, not a marketing line item. 2. Revenue growth without margin improvement is not progress. 3. Fixed cost needs volume to work, but volume needs margin to survive. 4. The multi-brand portfolio is a demand strategy, not a profitability strategy. 5. The best businesses own both the supply and the customer. Now, Rebel Foods is a genuine pioneer. They've invented India's cloud kitchen industry before the category existed. They built 45 brands, 600 plus kitchens, international presence, a kitchen operating system that the industry copied. None of that is in question. What is in question and what their numbers make visible is whether the model as currently structured can reach sustained profitability at scale. 803 million deployed, 14 years of operation, cost per revenue rupee improved by 8 paise. That's not a failure, that's a hard, honest signal that the model has a structural ceiling, and the next phase of Rebel Foods' story will be defined not by how many brands they launch or how many kitchens they open, but by how much of the customer relationship they can reclaim from the platforms that are currently owning it. Platform dependency, margin structure, operating leverage, direct channels. These aren't just Rebel Foods' problems, they're the defining financial questions of every platform-dependent business in India right now. Rebel Foods just makes them visible at scale. If there's one life to leave you with, it's this. Revenue tells you how big you are, margin tells you whether you should exist. Subscribe for the full series.